Uh, I'm going to kind of cut off most of the next session. So we're going to kind of focus on a few things. I'll just give you a quick background to why we wanted to have this session in the first place. We did a national stock taking workshop in the September 9th and 10th of this year. And we, at that workshop, we kind of explored various ways of addressing people with disabilities. And frankly, we never expected the kind of response that we got in the sessions that we had out there. The kind of recommendations that we got were immense. Each session actually should have been a workshop by itself. That's something we realized. And post the workshop, we had so much of feedback that we've been busy actually documenting all the various videos and other discussions that we had. But some of the key outcomes of that which were not addressed was this. One is, which we thought we'll present it here and discuss, because I know some of you have been in that workshop also. One was, of course, connecting the unconnected. How do we take these innovations to rural communities? This was one of the big things that we didn't really discuss there. And as you can see today, amazing innovations. How do we go? Collaboration, partnerships, needed to take initiatives forward. We saw that the gestation period for the smart cane was something like 5 years. How are any of these fantastic products going to go into the market in a short period of time? Who will be the angel investors? How do we support them to make the transition from here to the next step of becoming products and getting to scale is one of the things that brings us to the next point of incubating innovators to assistive production, which is really something. And when I say assistive production, it's not just about assistive technology, but it's how to assist them into production. And then help them to create sustainable business models. And I think it's very relevant in what the presentations that have been done today. How are they going to become, address these four issues is what I really wanted to do. For academic interest, I'll just quickly try to see whether we can look at some of the other, I think I've already finished this one. Just to go back to the workshop that we did in September, these were the 7 areas of thematic focus, and each one of them, believe me, has turned out with some key outcomes, and we have been working on some of those things. This is how it was designed. We had a knowledge mall exhibition. We had the knowledge mall divided into 3 categories, and again coming back on existing developers, new innovators, and new concept, and to existing people, where all of them have one big challenge, and that is how do they go to scale? How do they stay in the market? How do they stay relevant with new technologies? Because so much hard work goes into some of those very good technologies that happen. So that was one of the things that we found. And of course, we had a number of participants just like we had today. I'll skip all this because we really have run out of time and come back to that. We had an aspiration of youth. As you can see, we had so many people giving us recommendations. We have been working on some of these. One of the things that has come across is and I think in this session that I really want to ask some of you to volunteer, is to put together a core group of people who will guide us to the next 1 year, that is 2015. We really would like to ask all of you to volunteer to guide us as a core group to say how do we go, where do we go, and how do we do it. So that's the reason I thought I'll use this opportunity of this session to kind of put these things forward. So as you can see, aspiration of youth, one thing was putting subtitles for films mandatory. Make a government law that all the films they should also enjoy life like everybody else. So this was one of the key ones there. Oh, this one. I'm sorry, I don't use a Microsoft machine. I use an Ubuntu, and that's why I'm totally at loss here. Just goes to show technology beats all of us. Yes, aspirations. I need to. Okay, this was the one on education from K-12, that is kindergarten to 12 education. Number of recommendations. One of the biggest ones we found here was, if you go right down, it says, can you help me with this one? Okay, this guy is a Microsoft guy. Okay. Address lack of interpreters for deaf. I mean, in school, deaf children, I mean, not even talking about the visually impaired. deaf children are not able to get interpreters. At the college level, it's much worse. So, and if you're looking at the dropout rates of normal children across this country, it's incredible. And where do the chances of disabled children even fit in there is something that we need to address. So can you press the button? Thank you very much. Okay, so that's the one on higher education. They very clearly said ICT applications are required, and that is something that is not available in most universities. So you have to come to JNU or somewhere in Delhi or a major city to be able to get educated if you are disabled. So that means that leaves out the rural population, completely leaves out the rural population. I mean, where do they stand? What are the chances of them coming and learning? It's really a big challenge here. And then, of course, there has been a request to form a forum also to kind of respond to all this. We are working on that. Web access and compliance was a major discussion. And I think one of the things was designing portals and keeping compliance, especially for government websites. We had somebody call us up and interact with us and say, look, every year we will work on a blacklist of the worst government services websites and try to make them better. And I think that's really needed. I think that was a damn good suggestion. So let's make a blacklist. Let's not have a white list. Let's make a blacklist and help them to make it better. Because it seems somehow or the other, they don't seem to understand how to make it better. One of the classic examples was the Indian Railways website. And instead of making it better, they made it worse. So earlier you could go halfway, now you can go nowhere. So I think that's also something that we need to, as a challenge here is, why don't the people respond? How do we make them respond is one of the things. Sorry, I won't press the button. One of the biggest recommendations was, and most things to worry about was economy. How do they earn money? Reduce the dependency on the others in the family. And a lot of questions, a lot of recommendations. We really don't know how we're going to address some of these. Next. Arts and culture and life. I have a bright spot here, and I think I'll ask Vijay to kind of quickly talk about it. Can you just give us in 2 minutes? Yeah, we did were able to form a core group on this one, and been successful in taking one initiative of this forward. So I'll ask Vijay to kind of quickly, can you give me?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Vijay Raghavan. I'm from UNESCO Culture Sector. Thanks, Rajan. During the conference which happened in September and during this session, as an outcome, a working group was formed which comprised of many cultural institutions such as the National Museum, the National Gallery of Modern Art, Saksham, which is again an institution for the blind persons, and Google Cultural Institute, and many others. And the main agenda of this working group was to bring forward what is lacking in these institutions for giving access to persons with disabilities. And the pilot reform project is being now run at the National Museum, where we are pointing out various access points and the barriers which would not allow a person with disabilities to have proper enjoyment of the arts and culture that is inside that museum. So for now, it's very much at the pilot stage. So I cannot disclose too much of what we are doing, but definitely it's much in the positive direction, and we'll come up with something very unique and concrete in the coming months. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Vijay. Can you take next one? Can you hear me still? Hello? Can you hear me? Yeah. Yes, and then of course we had a review of all the assistive technologies in that session. Some of you are here who are there, and one of the things that we found again was the issues that I mentioned earlier. Okay, all the mics are the same. Yeah, is that okay? Can you hear me? Okay, I'll try to use this one because it keeps going on and off and I don't know why. One of the things that we found there was to have a national database with information on best practices, and this is something that we want to put together, so that people can not just look at the technology but also understand the background of the technology. The technologists can talk to each other. So it's not about talking to the users but talking to the technologists themselves. So where collaboration can happen or people can learn from this. This is very, very important because unless the techies talk to each other and enhance each other's capacities, each one will be in silos. And I think this we're seeing in more and more happening across, especially in India, especially in the cases of government-funded projects like what we talked about with Professor Ramakrishna. Brilliant work, but not being taken to the other parts of the country because it's isolated. And I think that's very, very important. Okay. The Knowledge Mall, of course, gave us some amount of work to do. What we're doing in that process, we are putting together a compendium of all the technology that we have so far in the last 1 year been reviewing. Today's session also was a part of that ongoing process that we are looking at. Idea is to pick up innovators from various IITs, institutes of electrical engineering across the country, and bring them together and recognize them and help them to go forward. I think this is something that we are trying to do. So we're also trying to put together a forum of a community of practice. I think I mentioned this before. Also, the forum is also going to try to find funds to support research and development and marketing of these assistive technologies. I think this is very, very important because the biggest challenge is getting into the market. This one? Of course, the distribution and the cost of technologies is something that we all know. It's very prohibitive, but we hope things will get better in the future. So, and just to kind of quickly give you a review, this is one of the results of the last workshop. We're doing a lot of documenting process, and we're going to also come up with a publication, and we're also soon sharing the outcomes of the workshop with you all. And then let's go back to this discussion quickly. We have about half an hour and we can discuss this. And I will hope we'll get some answers to this question. I'll keep them on the board. Thank you.